Teamster Power 767 Reality Check with Jeff Schenfeld and Garfield Hooper.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Teamster Power Reality Check. Our guest today, Richard Hooker. He is the Principal Officer, Secretary Treasurer of Local 623 in Philadelphia. Good to have you back, Richard.
Thanks for you guys having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
So first thing we're going to talk about today, we're going to get right into it, is the heat. Now, anyone who watches this show knows that we're always talking about the heat. We've had some deaths, in the local. We've had a lot of things going on, and don't think that our local has been quite prepared. It's always been, reactive, and it's important because, and anywhere, I know it doesn't get as hot in Philadelphia, but it still gets hot, right? And it's an issue, and I don't know why, the whole thing with the AC and the trucks and everything like that. But, we know the deal with that, but there is nothing really else put in there. The ice, I mean, come on, we can get ice, whether it's through the company or not, but there are other things that have to happen. Garfield, you got a couple of things you want to add to this?
So, one of the things that I would love to see, and Richard, I'd love to get your take on this as well, is, we have employee-run safety committees for UPS. That was that's part of the thing, because I remember when I first started, there was a big hullabaloo about it, and they did away with them. And then a couple contracts later, they put them back in. And
sure,
yeah. And we I've been a part of our safety committee in our building for almost since our building opened. So it's been a little over 10 years here. Now, most of the time, I'm there as, a steward to make sure that these things are done correctly, but I also participate in them. But, we don't have a lot of guidance from the locals. We don't have a lot of guidance from the IBT about what we're supposed to be doing as a safety committee. The only guidance we have, it comes from the company. Like, if the company has a suggestion on what we want to do as an activity, they'll be like, oh yeah, you can do this, you can do that. It's like, well, that's fine, and oh, that's all well and good, but this is supposed to be a employee run committee, and we've come up with some stuff. We've done some good things. We try to do giveaways and handouts and do little activities that hopefully keep safety, whether it be heat or whatever, in the forefront of people's minds so they can take care of themselves. But what I would like to see from the IBT as a whole is, like, locals having a dedicated member at the hall that is in charge of coordinating these safety committees, so that these activities and these things that are coming from the union, that are coming from the members, and not just, this is what the company wants us to do, so we're checking a box.
No, that's a good idea. That's a real good idea. Before I became an officer of the local, I used to be on the safety committee too, as well as a shop steward on those committees, just to watch and make sure things were done correctly, and have more of a voice while members there. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. That is a really good idea to have somebody from the local, steward, agent, whoever, being responsible for the coordination of things that are going on within the local in that contract as it pertains to safety. That is a really good idea. I like that.
Yeah.
And plus it gives the local and the members more of a say so in what's going on when it comes to safety,
Yeah.
especially at UPS, because they always say housing is important, get home the same way you left, and all these kinds of things like that. But they really don't mean it. I think everybody on this call knows that they really don't care about safety. But I think, to what you're suggesting, that will prioritize that, making sure that folks are getting home safe and being safe at work. And it puts more pressure on the company to let them know, hey, the local unit is watching as well. So
Yeah.
I like that. That's really good. I like that.
I just
It,
go ahead, Jeff.
what I think is like maybe weekly or biweekly have a Zoom call with the IBT with that point person, or if there's a couple of point people, maybe there's two or three, whatever it is, whatever it looks like, but constantly commuting with, the IB it's communicating with the IBT. But the thing is, there are different problems everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know, the heat is a problem everywhere, but there are certain things, and in different areas, we truly want everyone to be safe. So
Hmm.
you have that connection from the IBT to local, just listening what's going on. Maybe the IBT can give some information, help out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
As
I think
opposed
that's,
to
yeah.
as opposed to getting on a podcast and talking about a serious problem that happened over a year ago.
Wow. 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 A
Not to
year,
not
over a year.
not to point any fingers or
Right.
anything, but
Yeah.
it's nice. It's nice that having someone almost die in your center finally gets the attention of the IBT over a year after it happens. Thanks, Sean. I'm not
Yeah.
bitter or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, we have to be more proactive on these issues, man, because we are a reactionary organization, and we don't really have a lot of things in place to become proactive. And that's some of the things that we're going to have to fix moving forward. We have to be more proactive. Now, some things are going to happen where you're going to have to react to it, but a lot of things we know that are happening, and we could be proactive so it doesn't get out of hand. And that's something that we're going to have to look into. But I like that. That's a really good idea, Garfield. That's good. That's real good.
I
The
would
other
like the
thing is,
IBT to more. I would like the IBT and our locals to be more involved in the safety aspect. If it's going
Yeah,
to be a part of our
I agree.
contract, like
Yep,
I
I
think
agree.
I think we should be more involved in the safety.
Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah.
And that's when they're going to change when the politics get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the big holdup on a lot of this stuff. If you
Yep.
don't support me, if you don't like me, then a lot of the things that I could be doing for you, I'm not going to do because politics. And that's the biggest problem we
Yeah.
have as Teamsters, man. We are afraid of each other, and we let politics run the organization, and that's the issue.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to get out of that mindset. I know
Yeah.
we've talked
Yes.
about it, Richard.
Yeah.
It's and Garfield. That's gotta be a thing of the past. We
It
get in
has to
there.
be.
That's got to be absolutely.
I,
And something else that I just wanted to bring up. So the under the Teamster umbrella, there are a bunch of different companies, right? And I know we talk about UPS because we're at UPS, but I think that a way to, because one company might feel slighted, right? Because we're talking about another.
Yeah.
Maybe you have some Zoom calls or even get-togethers with different companies. I mean, it's unionism, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just the whole idea of it, even just doing that, going to the different companies and just, I mean, I know when the UAW, when I was a BA, they were on strike. They asked us, we went down there. We went down to Marshall in Texas, and we backed them, and it was good. You do that. You do that. I mean, we're all union, and we need to get the idea of, unionism back. Don't know where
Yes.
it is right now.
being a
Yeah, I know.
Teamster doesn't make us brothers and sisters. Being in a union makes us brothers and sisters.
Right.
Like it doesn't matter if it's the UAW, the
Mhm.
AFL-CIO, the
Yep.
SAG-AFTRA. We're all fighting the same fight.
There you go.
Yep.
It's
No,
kind of like with the brother
that's
that I met, Welsh, down in Dallas, David Welsh.
David Walsh. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Walsh, I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah,
He said something to me about community, solidarity, and family. That's what it means to be in a union. And you could take those three things and pour them not just in the union, but just in life generally, and things would be a whole lot better. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But definitely in our organization, we need those three things like yesterday,
Yeah.
because like you guys were just saying, you go and support UAW, you go and support AFL, you go and support SEIU, and right now in this climate, we need to be on the same side, pulling in the same direction, because
Yeah.
the bosses are, the employers are,
Yep.
the ruling class, they are. We need to do the same thing.
Yes. Yes. And like you said, you take the politics out of it and you just do the right thing.
Just
That's
do the
it,
right
right?
thing. That's it.
That's it.
We're
So,
not going to
I,
agree on everything. We're not
nope.
going to be on the same side on everything. But when it comes to fighting for each other, to make things better for each other, there should be no politics involved in
Nope.
that. Not at all.
Not at
No.
all.
And when you have to, like, in the past, I've had to represent people that I just don't like, right? But it doesn't matter. We're going against the company, and I don't even think twice about you represent them to the best of your ability.
Yep.
That's easy.
I got to tell you guys, and I know we got to move on, but something you just said, Brother Jeff, I had a member, and it's going to sound very disrespectful. I had a member call me a monkey. Yes, call me a monkey. I went in there, defended him like nobody's business, got him back to work
Ah,
and everything. You know why? To what you just said. Doesn't matter what you call me. I got a job to do, right? My job is to protect you whether you like me, whether you don't like me, whether you hate me, whether you whatever. And that's what we have to do. But again, I could have been like, man, you know what, man? I can't believe he disrespected me like this.
no,
This is some racial, just disrespectful, whatever. Yeah, I could have did that, but who wins there? The
Nobody.
company
oh,
wins.
Yep.
yeah,
The
yeah,
employer wins.
Yep.
yeah,
And they gotta
yeah.
stop winning.
And
I know.
and the and
God,
the and the IBT needs more people like you.
Oh,
It needs I'll
I
be fair,
appreciate
the
that.
IBT needs to be made up of nothing but people like you.
Wow. I appreciate
that's
that.
that's the truth right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But you
That's
guys as well, man. I mean, Garfield, you and Jeff, man, you guys, and Brother David, and there's a whole lot of people who I've always said this to. If we had members who just wanted to make things better for everybody, they didn't care whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, whether you go to church or don't, Muslim, agnostic, Baptist, Pentecostal, whatever. Hey man, the enemy is over there and they're dominating us. What are we going to do to stop it? And you guys have that mindset. And there's a lot of people out there that do. And we have to tap into that and get that out there so we can change this organization around. That's the only way we're going to win. Because right now,
100%.
man, we're just not winning at all.
Yep. 100%.
yeah, treading water right now.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not good. So next thing we want to talk about, and this is, on some lists, this may be at the top, right? Education,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's what I see. I'm going to tell you what I see. I see a lot of stewards who aren't educated, okay? And I don't necessarily blame them. They maybe the local hasn't trained them well. And it includes going into hearings with the business agent, going down to panel, not just when the ones are local, taking them to, wherever, if it's in I was in Florida or whatever, Louisiana, just take them there because when you listen to cases, you sit there and you listen to case after case. Cases are different. Some of them are the same, but the BAs read them differently, and you see what the end game is, and that's important. And there is just, oh, here's a steward class, and oh, now you're a steward.
Right.
It just it can't be that way. It
I
just
agree.
can't.
I agree. It's
It's
funny you said
yeah.
that. No, we had a steward. He's since retired. He was around, man, 30 some years. And he used to talk about the previous administration before we got elected and how he would always talk about, hey, man, you need to go to panel. Let's go to panel. Let's go to panel. Let's go to panel. So before he retired, maybe about a year before he retired, we went to panel down in Richmond, Virginia. And he was a part of the case. And he started to see what was going on at panel. He started to see how people were putting on cases and how the company would dissect certain things and how the union would do certain things. And after that panel, now we were successful in winning what we wanted to get down there, but he said, Hook, he said, I gotta change the way I'm talking. You do not want to come to panel. You want to settle this at the earliest stage possible in the grievance procedure. He said, number one, we're going all the way down here. We're not in that same supplement and all the stuff that we talked about before,
Yeah.
but you do not want to go to panel. But you don't get that, Jeff, to your point, unless you take the stewards with you. You bring them along, you train them, you teach them, you empower them. This is not about, oh, well, if you do that, they're going to take your job. Well, the job doesn't belong to me anyway. It belongs to the members. So if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, they need to take it, right? And so when you train people to be leaders and not followers, that's what you're going to get, right? Like I tell people all the time, I'm just a rank and file people who just happen to be a principal officer. This title or position don't mean anything to me. It really doesn't. Being a steward, I miss being a steward. I really do, because having that personal interaction day to day with the members, going to the war in the mud with the company. I miss that. I don't get the chance to do that too much now because a lot of my job, unfortunately, is administrative and political and this. I hate that. I hate it. But I know it's part of it. But to your point, Jeff, we have to do a better job of empowering our members, having these trainings for them. Like this thing that they just came out with the Teamsters, they were in DC, was the fair labor. I don't want to mess it up, but
Oh,
it's to make the negotiations
yeah, they have to
start
do it with,
faster.
yeah, they have to do it within
Faster, like
faster labor contracts
Right, something
act
like
or
that.
something like that.
But how many people know about that? That's a
Yeah.
good piece of legislation,
It's
right?
yeah.
We should there's not one Teamster who shouldn't know about that.
No.
That should be broadcasted. Hey, this is something that we need to do,
Yeah.
and we should be educated on that and what that means.
And to be clear,
Yeah.
what the legislation is supposed to do is when a shop votes to become a union,
Right,
then the company has 10 days, I
10
believe,
days, right.
to enter negotiations
Right.
for that contract, as opposed to putting it off. Because you've heard of, especially like the Amazon buildings that have been, that have voted to it, and a year later that they still don't have a contract.
Still don't have a contract.
Yeah. So like this legislation is specifically to avoids things like that. Now,
Right.
whether or not it passes, I mean that's neither here nor
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But it's a worthwhile piece of legislation.
Absolutely. And things like
Yep.
that we need to educate our members on
Yeah.
because it's important. And when contracts are being negotiated, we need to educate our members on that. And that's why open bargaining is a big piece of what we're talking about of education.
yep,
It's a
Yep.
big important piece.
Everybody should, and see, that's something that I would. Oh man, during this last contract, this is something that I hated so much. Is the IBT pushed that app, whatever.
Yeah.
What's it called? The
UPS Teamsters
UCS
something.
Teamsters app or
Yeah.
whatever. That's supposed to come out with updates. Of course, it got updated every once in a while when they put out whatever they wanted to. But so many people would come to me and ask me, it's like, what's going on in negotiations? Like, I don't know. I'm getting the same
Exactly.
information you are. Like, I've got this app that's supposed to tell me all this stuff. Of course, it didn't tell you anything. Oh, what was the big deal that happened during when they leaked the
Oh, they
The-
said that UPS was dropping the wages and not really increasing them. It was like 50 cents they
Yeah.
wanted to do. Something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Right. Now
Well,
they
and-
put that
Yeah.
out there.
yeah.
Right.
And then they
Yeah.
put out the wage progression, and then there was a huge misunderstanding on what the wage progression actually was. Like at one
Yep.
point, people thought it was more. Like it was, we were supposed to be getting like $10
Right,
or something,
right,
and then
yeah,
they had to
yeah.
clarify that we weren't going to be getting that. So we weren't going to be getting the initial hit and then something on top of it.
Right.
So it ended up only being like 7 something. But
Right.
yeah, it was a big and like. We can alleviate this if we just the members, the people that this contract affects, know what's going on from
Exactly.
the get-go.
Exactly.
no hearsay. Yep,
No
Yep.
hearsay, maybe even have something as much as we're you've got bargaining unit members in there in negotiations, but like also maybe at the end of every day of negotiations, the IBT does a fucking Zoom call and be like,
Yeah.
hey, these are the things we talked about. These are the things the company said. We decided we didn't want it. We didn't agree with this stuff. We told them to take it and shove it up their ass.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, you know what it is? It's like a steward or going down to a panel. You're seeing it. You're
Yeah.
seeing actually what goes on. So you know how we
Exactly.
got to
Yes.
here by going here, here, and here. And I don't know what's to hide. No more NDAs done.
Yeah.
Right? NDAs. God Almighty, that doesn't even look right.
It
But
doesn't.
just so clarify, the Faster Labor Contracts Act. That's what it
Okay.
was.
That's
Faster Labor Contracts Act.
Yeah.
Yeah. And education, that's it. It's important. You make videos on different, articles in the contract. Let anyone, not just stewards, anyone, gets to look at them. We need the members to be educated also, not just the
Yeah.
stewards.
Yeah,
We
everybody
need
has to be.
everyone to do
Yeah.
their part.
And I recently went to a steward seminar, and it was good. I'm not going to say it wasn't good information, but they had a separate section that was run for people that were stewards under 5 years, and a separate one that was 5+. I don't know what happened in the under 5 one. So maybe it was better information, but I feel like the 5 year and plus one, it focused more on, I guess, labor charges, like holding the company accountable via labor charges, which I think everybody here knows labor charges aren't really going to go anywhere right now.
Right now, yeah.
If possibly ever again.
Yeah.
So like,
right.
that feasibly was like a waste of time, and
Yep.
I think that. I think that the IBT would be better off educating stewards in these seminars in a way that would be like, hey, you need to be able to have these conversations with management, how to speak with management, how to solve these problems before they become problems, how to, go beyond the grievance process and be like,
Yeah.
hey, this is not,
That's it.
solve a problem before it becomes a grievance.
You know what we always talk about. We say, as stewards, you tell people to file a grievance, but the most important thing that people forget, you have to work the problem still.
Yep.
You don't just say file and don't do it, because you work the problem, 7, 8, whatever, 7 out of 10 times, maybe you could solve it, and the grievance goes away. It shouldn't be just file and wait for it to come up, and 2
Yeah.
years later,
Yeah.
work the problem. I mean, God, I
Yeah.
just don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand where the urgency is.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, the seniority grievances, the pay claims, they go before the supervisor's working. The supervisor's working are easy, but these locals want to, look how much money we made. How about getting their pay right? How about getting seniority right? Because the company always likes to mess with both of them.
I've been guilty of that, and it is just full transparent moment. Up until about 2023, after the contract was ratified, I was one of those ones who used to believe that as long as we got our members back to work, which is important, and got the grievances paid, I thought that the union was winning. I did. But as time has passed, I realized that we don't have control over the grievance process at all. We really don't. UPS manipulates it, and like you said, Garfield, earlier, now that the NLRB is pretty much a sham, what is a charge going to do, right? And because we've done that, we've filed charges, we've done this, we've done that, and UPS continues to do the same thing over and over again. And so, a part of the education, to your point, Jeff, we have to really get from under this, that once you get your grievance check or your penalty pay, that the work stops, or that you won. You haven't won. We need to get control over that grievance procedure. And that's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow at my general membership meeting. I'm going to talk about 2028 and what we need to do as a local to prepare to get more control over the grievance procedure. Yeah, you got a big check. You got your 9 files paid. You got back to work with back pay. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. But we got to think outside of that box that we've been in for so long and think about how do we get control over the grievance procedure? Because right now we don't have any. And then what they tell you is, and I'm guilty of this too, and I hate telling my members, file another grievance. That doesn't do anything. It really doesn't. And so we have to really, really change that procedure, educate our members on that and why it needs to be changed. Because some people think, hey, long as I get my check, I'm cool. Well, no, you're not cool because when a company makes billions of dollars a quarter, that money doesn't mean anything.
Nope.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it's a drop in the bucket. So here's another thing. I noticed that's it's been happening with some of the BAs, right? So when the company terminates someone, they're the moving party, right?
Yeah.
They at the panel they're going to go first or whatever. If it gets to the panel, they're the moving party. They go first. But what I'm hearing is when we file seniority grievances, why are we still letting them being the moving party? We're filing it. We talk. Don't let the company control it.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that? Like, it's a simple thing like that. And if you don't know that, then the company's just going to keep taking more and more and more. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the basics have to be taught first,
Yep.
and I don't know, that's just crazy to me. That's just beyond me.
Yeah. I'm with you,
So
brother. I'm with you. There's a lot of
yeah,
work that has to
so
be
it's
done.
yes, yeah,
It just
yeah.
it is what it is. We just got to do the work.
That's it. And nothing will happen overnight.
No.
But the thing is, you have to be willing to do it. And if you're willing to do it, you'll start noticing things,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? People will notice. And you don't have to put on a show. You don't have to make up this, make up that. Just
Yeah.
do it the right way. Be honest. And
Yeah.
guess what?
Yeah.
That's the way it should be,
That's
not the
it.
smoke and mirrors,
Yep.
right?
If you're
Yeah. Oh
doing the
yeah.
job the right way, you don't need to play politics. People will just vote for you because you're doing it right.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
So someone always says to me, he's like, these Teamster politics, it's Teamster politics. Well, no, it doesn't have to be that way. Stop with
Exactly.
the politics, and it won't be that way. You know what I'm saying? It
Yep.
doesn't. It's a choice that people make to make it political. And if you choose not to and just do the right thing, novel concept, right?
And you
I
know
mean,
what, man? The politics of this organization is so bad because in my mind, I always, think about the company is always watching and they're going to take advantage of it. So there's a certain level of politics and dirt and mud. I refuse to go back and forth with people because the company is always watching. And I'm gonna tell you guys this story and you'll understand why. So in 2023, right, contract is being negotiated. And so myself and my president, we went to DC because they wanted the supplements done first. So we had to go up there and try to get this thing done, whatever, whatever. So everybody knows O'Brien, for whatever reason, got a beef with me in 623. Company knows that, right? They know it. They even talk about it. And I just go in way out there because I know what they're trying to do. No matter the beef that he has with me, I will never, never go back and forth with them about him because regardless, he's still the general president of the Teamsters.
yep, yep,
And I'm not going to let the politics control what they do and how they try to manipulate me and saying something about him, and especially in their presence. It's not going to happen. So what they try to do is they try to do that. So they know that he got a beef with me. They know he got a problem with me. And so we in there negotiating, and this guy comes in, the camera guy. He comes in, takes a picture of myself, Bagby, so they can put it up and say, hey, this group, this local is negotiating, right? So what the Teamsters did, they put Western PA under my picture and Bagby. But we're from 623. So the company representative come in and say, hey, did you see what they just did? And I'm looking at it. Oh, I said, oh, okay. That's fine. So we get on the elevator. Another one of them said, yo, man, did you see what they just did to y'all? Man, this is just crazy. That's all, man. It's whatever. It's okay. But that's the stuff they try to do. And that's why there's a certain level of politics I just won't be involved in because no matter what O'Brien does, he's still the general president. He is not the enemy. UPS, Amazon, Walmart, Target, whoever, those folks are the enemy. So when people ask, oh man, why don't you clap back and respond? That is the reason why. Because they're watching everything we do, the companies are. Whatever you say about O'Brien or Hooker, they watching. And they're going to try to use it. So we can have some political differences and policy changes that we want, but I'm not going to go all in and bash the brother. No, I am going to use his own words against him like we are. We didn't bring UPS to their knees and you didn't stop automation. That's just fact. But I ain't going to be out there just bashing him over the top of the head. Oh, man, you were this and you were that. And I'm not doing that. Because O'Brien today right now say, Hooker, we got something to be organized in Philly. We need you to do it. He ain't going to do it. But guess what? Yes, sir. Whatever you need, we going to make it
Yeah.
happen.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's what it is.
And that's easy. That's
Right, that's easy. Right.
You know, and it's so listen, I'm going to ask you, you can make this quick. You posted something recently about Carol Tomei and
Oh,
some words she had to say. I want you to just say quickly, say what happened because I thought it was just unbelievable.
yeah. So I encourage everybody to watch that. It's like 35 minutes, but the stuff that she was saying in that, everybody needs to be paying attention to. I think the 11th minute, 43-second, whatever mark, she talks about automation and how it's great. She talked about Rhodey and what, and I mean, they're just playing in our face, man. They don't even care. They don't care about the contract. They don't care about the Teamsters. They don't care about anything. And that's why we have to come together and fight back on that. But later on, she says something that we're going to talk about tomorrow, me and Chris, when we do our show, and that people need to understand this. They were concerned about the White House being pro-union. And the Democratic caucus sent them a letter telling them that, yo, you need to look out for these workers, these members. And so what you think 2028 gonna look like? And I'll just leave it right there without
Yeah.
going further. What you think UPS is going to do in 2028, knowing that there is no longer a pro worker, pro labor, pro just family as far as working class administration
Yep.
in the White House. What you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
And I'll just leave
Yeah.
it right there.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm glad you just, I just want you to mention it because it was important. When I saw that, I
Yeah,
was just, yeah.
it was bad, man. When she got to that part, my heart
Yep.
just dropped because they know 2028 they're gonna have absolute power. They're gonna have an administration that's gonna back them. If we even think about striking, it's going to be a problem. But that's why our education empowerment right now in 2025 to lead up to 2028 is going to be important
Yep.
because as of right now, I don't see any other way that we survive this onslaught at UPS unless we take them on the street. I just don't see it as of right now today. Now,
Yeah.
listen, they
Yeah.
may get their act together. Do I think they will? No, but we should have did it in 2023. We should have took them on the street then because she had some stuff to say about that. And the part about it, and I know I'll keep going on, but she even said they knew they were in trouble. She said it. She said, "Man, we were in trouble if we went out." She said it.
We should have
Yeah.
gone out, took him to the
Yes.
street in 2018. That's when we should have done it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
we never had so much leverage as we did in this last contract.
didn't.
Oh my God, yes.
No, we didn't. We
So-
didn't
We
have
had the
any-
administration.
we had the support of the
We
public.
had the support.
Yeah.
Everything. Yep.
Just coming off of what happened with COVID.
Yep.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But yeah, well, that's that's something we can get
That's
into
still.
on.
We may have to do a show about that. That's about
Yes.
2023 and the negotiations. What should have happened? Because I still
Yep.
get questioned about that from my members. Matter of fact, on Friday I was at Oregon Avenue, and like you said earlier, it doesn't get hot like that. It is in Texas. That heat down there, man. God bless y'all. Keep that down there. But
Yeah.
the one of the members said, he said, Hook, what's going to happen if we don't get if the ACs don't come? I said, brother, nothing gonna happen. Nothing. He said, that's my point. I thought this contract was so historic. And this is what the members are saying. Because they now are starting to see what's really going on now.
Yep. 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 That's it. They are. But listen, we talked about some important things as always. Richard, always great having you on here. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
And I
We
appreciate
do.
you guys. And thank you guys. You guys keep doing what you guys are doing and keep being the model members that we need. And I appreciate you guys
Absolutely.
more than you guys ever know. Thank you for that.
Appreciate it. So for myself, Garfield and Richard Hooker, everyone have a good day.
We all deal with national language, but on this podcast, when it comes to supplemental language, we deal mostly with the southern region. And as always, it's best to get advice from your local stewards or business agents. If you would like to reach out to us with any questions, we have an email address, 767realitycheck@gmail.com. That's 767realitycheck@gmail.com.
And remember, strong people stand up for themselves, but the strongest people stand up for others.